I didn't intend to get arrested. But I couldn't leave. One of our favorite occupiers. My fellow food committee member. Deirdre.
I stayed at the food tent as long as I could. We passed out apple occupy. We tried to keep people happy and safe. I hid the cans. To help us remain nonviolent. And then Mud and I walked up the streets. After we were told by the police to leave. We walked down the streets. To a car waiting for us. Until we were told. To get on the sidewalk. Or be arrested. We went to the sidewalk. And found riot police. On either side of us. Coming closer. It made me nervous. But the police officer in front of us. Said, wait just a moment. And we'll let you go. To my surprise. Within moments. I watched Mud. Zip-tied. And taken away. I then saw a legal observer. The kind with the pass, not the green hat. Taken away as well. And then it happened to me. The people who had hopped over the fence. Who had disobeyed the order to go to the sidewalk. Were left alone. The people who had listened to the police. Remaining calmly and peacefully on the sidewalk. Found themselves zip-tied. Taken away. Were left standing on the street for a couple hours. As I was. Watching the people I know get taken on buses. I was one of the last put on the buses. Standing and shivering outside. Taken on the bus with several other women. There were men behind me as well.
Mic check.
We spent about almost 8 hours. Being driven back and forth. There was a point in time. Where I believe the sheriffs. Who were driving. Decided to pull over. And have some food. As they sat up with their feet propped on the dash. We begged to be allowed to go to the bathroom. Our hands were still behind our backs. It had been hours. Some of us really had to go to the bathroom. We decided amongst ourselves. We would not say who this happened to. But one of us really had to go to the bathroom. So together we surrounded her. So the men behind and the drivers in front of us. Couldn't see her. As we, with our hands behind, helped take her pants down. She could go to the bathroom on the seats. Because that was the only option. We had asked for water. We had asked for humanity. Although it sounds a little dramatic. Humanity was what we needed. When we asked for that, they turned Christmas music on.
They turned Christmas music on.
So loud that we couldn't hear each other. So that they couldn't hear us. Asking for humanity.
Fuck that.
Are you talking about jail guards?
At one point, they had the air conditioning turned up so high that it triggered asthma. For me and another girl. I knew my inhaler was in the duffel bag. And I tried to say, I understand if you can't get it. But I do need my inhaler. Another girl spoke for me. Because my voice wasn't working. The sheriff both made fun of her. And then told me. This isn't the movies, you know. My thought was exactly, this is a real attack.
That's what I thought exactly. This was a real-on attack.
What were their names?
Not all of the officers treated us this way. The bus drivers were awful. I heard other buses experience similar things. When we went to the metro station, the officers were embarrassed. They offered apples. They offered burritos. But they did nothing. When we went to the women's center, hours later, I believe we were arrested at 2 in the morning. I personally was booked around 5 the next afternoon. After that, we went to the Women's Center in Van Nuys. We were not offered showers. We were not offered toothbrushes. We were told they only offer that every other day. But we were not offered the next day either. We did not get fed. Until 6 the next morning. When I explained I cannot eat pancakes. Because I'm allergic to wheat. And asked for an apple. They said we do not accommodate such things. When I asked for soap. They simply said no. We had a girl who was sick in her cell. We asked for a nurse. We asked for a nurse again. About a half an hour later. Once I tried knocking over the garbage can outside. They were irritated enough to come over and answer. There was a girl who was still there. Who needed her anxiety medicine. When I left today, she was curled in a ball. On the top of her bunk bed. As far as I know, she's still there. I tried very hard. To help people be fed. And get the things they needed. It wasn't easy. It didn't always happen. There are definitely people who are occupiers, who participate in committees, who are still there tonight. There are women trying to bond together,
trying to bond together,
trying to work together,
trying to work together,
and trying to get home.
and trying to get home.
Where home is,
We're
not sure.
We're not sure.
But we're occupiers,
We're occupiers.
and we're trying to stay together.
We're trying to stay together.
So, if anybody's watching tonight,
So if anybody's watching tonight,
our bail is ridiculously high.
our bail is ridiculously high.
$5,000 a person
5,000 a person
for 220 people,
for 220 people.
many of whom can't even imagine
Can't even imagine
the 10% of that
the 10% of that
for a bail bondsman.
for a bail bondsman.
So if anyone even has $2 or $3,
So if anyone has $2 or $3,
it can add up,
it can add up,
and we'd be grateful.
and we'd be grateful.
Thanks for listening.
Thank you.